Hey, what's up? It's Phoenix. I wrote my essay Aftermath in a desire and attempt to process some of the brutal things that happened to me recently. And I decided that I want to share this piece with you today. So I'm going to share the first part of Aftermath, and like I said, it helps me process things. I hope you enjoy. I hope you can self-reflect and learn some things about yourself, and I hope that it can help you bring much insight into your understanding of things, the self-exploration and the self-reflection. So without further ado, here it is. Aftermath, Part 1. I have been to hell and back. Last month, in October 2023, I was burglarized, robbed, and my sacred space was vandalized and trashed. The people that broke in literally trashed the place and stole all of my most valuable belongings, including my guitars and camera equipment, my piano keyboard, 5 jars of clothes, some petty cash, my bike, my electronics including my television, my social security card, my flash drives, and so many other things. Not only did they steal everything and break in, they destroyed the home. There was a lot of drug paraphernalia, including a vulgar penis pipe and other things that they left behind, including used condoms, pink slime in the tub, and a lot of trash. I don't know what to do. I have been thinking about it a lot in the aftermath. Now it is November of 2023, and I'm doing my best to figure out how to move forward and recover. The good news is that I am in a new place, a place that is much safer and nicer, and that will help me substantially in safety in my life and goals. When I was still at the old place, every time I walked into the door, after work or being with friends, I asked myself the question, what am I walking into now? What horrible surprises await me behind the door? Who intruded this time? In other words, then, I have to be able to overcome not just the tragedy of this, but also the trauma left behind like a sticky residue. I don't like that this is the situation. I don't like that this is the way that the world is. I don't like that this happened to me. But the more that I focus on things, the more that I know that I will overcome it. And by being in a new place, so many things are so much better already. But it has most definitely been a very hard time. I have had to work really hard lately at my job in order to earn a decent income, and the job is stressful and difficult, so it takes a long time to prepare myself mentally and emotionally for it. Not only that, but I currently do not have my health insurance. I hope to get that back very soon. I have been very doubtful of myself lately, second-guessing my steps. How will I overcome difficult times without straining the love of the people around me? How will I remain calm and loving instead of neurotic, afraid, and volatile? I have had several meltdowns since this has happened, and while I understand that the emotions are there, whether I like them or not, I have to deal with them nonetheless, and there is a part of me that doesn't want to deal with them at all. There is a part of me that feels as though I won't overcome all of this, because I hate the emotions, and some of that hate is turned inward. It is really difficult when you are feeling such strong emotions and don't know what to do with them. I've had multiple breakdowns of my composure, feeling as though nothing is going right, that I am worthless, that I am not good enough, and those feelings are exacerbated by the situation around me and the things so out of my control. I don't like feeling those things. I don't like feeling those feelings. I guess the mental health component has been the hardest element of this situation. I don't get a free pass just because I have mental illness. I am not treated in a special way just because I struggle with my mind all the time. I have to pay bills and do all the things that everybody else has to do, and because of that, I have to be prepared for what happens moving forward. Granted, what happened with the break-in was not normal in any circumstance, and it is not something that most people actually experience. But when you are doing your best to live life and enjoy things and be kind and loving to others, only to come home to the worst tragedy you could ever imagine, you ask yourself the question, how can people be this way? You ask the question, how is it that this is the way that it is? It doesn't make sense, but it doesn't stop things from being this way, and that is probably the hardest part about it. I have to deal with my mental health, and that has taken a back seat because I've had to work more at other things, including working my job and finding a new place, and when you don't have the energy to do those things, it can be incredibly overwhelming, taxing, and demotivating. I don't know what to do with all the emotions. I know that they are there, and I do believe that they are improving now that my situation has finally improved. But for a while there, it was like every little thing was a trigger. Every little thing. The more that I try to reel my emotions back in, the more that I have been unable to. I don't like that I have been feeling all of this, and that it is so complicated and ugly, and that I have felt things that I never want to feel again. Radical acceptance would show us that we can accept ourselves as we are, in its true form, that it is better if we do that. But that is certainly not easy to do at all. I keep feeling as though I am a failed writer, as though I am just not in a situation where I'm going to get very far in life, despite my diligent efforts. I have often felt that I do things wrong, that I don't do things right. I have often felt as though I am not good enough as I am, and that I have to do more. When they stole all my coping mechanisms, including YouTube and music, I didn't know how hard life would become not having those things. You just don't think that those things are going to disappear one day and be gone, never able to even say goodbye. You don't think that you will lose the things that help you stay afloat. I know that life is not fair, as people have been constantly reminding me, but I try to present my value in my art, but because art is not important socially, it seems as though I am not living up to my full potential. I can't find a publisher. I am working really hard to publish my own books in a way that is very professional, but I am limited in what I can do because I'm doing most of the work by myself. And so when something like this happens, it shows me that I am not as economically stable as I would like, which can be incredibly stressful when you're trying to live and replace things that were stolen. My dream is to be a writer, of course, and have published books, maybe even be able to do book tours and signings. However, I have only been able to put out my work myself because I have not found publishers to represent my writing. That is probably the part that makes me feel sad, which is that so much of it is out of my control, so much of it. It doesn't matter how hard I work or how much I put into it, I still have to be at the mercy of the whims of all the people around me, and it isn't so much that I feel as though I have failed at writing or as a writer, because I do know that I am probably a pretty decent writer with all of the hours that I have put into it. It is more that I just want to feel insulated and feel as though I am an author, that this is socially acknowledged and socially acceptable. It's a little bit more than just wanting validation. If I could be seen as an author, how cool would that be, and how much would it change my life? There are so many things that I don't understand about what happened to me, but I am practicing gratitude, because I know that my situation could definitely have been a lot worse. I'm glad that I didn't walk in on the people that broke into my apartment, and I'm glad that even though it took a little while, I was able to find a better place. A place so much better than where I was at before, with dog dirt everywhere, with the constant smell of cigarette smoke, with yelling and slamming doors, with drugs, with a complete mindfuck of mean neighbors and a mean environment. And so that gives me a lot of hope, because I know that I can rebuild my life, and because I am in a safer place. The likelihood of this ever happening again is slim to none. I know that other people have similar feelings that I do, even if they don't describe them or know how to identify them. Life is very difficult, and people are super judgmental, and this means that we are often in very difficult situations that require our complete concentration and energy, and that often limit us. So when we are going through those things, of course some depressive thoughts are going to arise sometimes. And unfortunately, that also sometimes includes suicidal ideation. I wish that it wasn't this way. I wish that there was more hope, but in those moments it is very bleak, and we are in a very dark place. I've certainly been in a very dark place. The hope is that there is light at the end of the tunnel, as they say. What makes it hard is that I have felt as though I haven't had much of a chance to grieve. I lost my grandmother last week, and so not only was I dealing with the grief of the break-in and other difficulties in my life, but also dealing with death and grief. Death is a super difficult thing to have to deal with, and it doesn't make sense what we do when we're in a situation where we have to confront loss. That has been what my life has been recently, or at least until today, where there is so much loss and so many difficult things that I have to deal with, contend with. It isn't easy at all, and so the emotions arise like a fire out of a dragon's belly, the feelings that drive you crazy, the sadness, the despair, the disappointment. But I am nonetheless doing my best to move forward and to see the hope and the joy in life. I am grateful for loving people in my life. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the opportunities. So the question that I ask myself then is, what is my life in the aftermath? What has actually changed? How am I a different person?